Erev Tov, I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live. It has actually come under the first attack. A small band of ISIL soldiers actually came in and attacked the Ain al-Assad military base, the U.S. military base. They were killed by the Iraqi soldiers there in Ain al-Assad, but it only begins to question whether or not the Iraqi soldiers will be able to handle if an all-out attack comes from ISIL. Let's take a listen here at the news coming out of Al Jazeera.
On midday on Thursday, according to Iraqi security forces, sleeper cells, that's what they're calling them, sleeper cells from ISIL activated themselves. They took over parts of the center of the town and mounted attacks further out with the aim of getting to Ain al-Assad airbase. Now, what we're hearing is that the area has been cleared by Iraqi security forces of those fighters, but according to local sources, there are a number of ISIL fighters still within the center of the town itself. Also, what we're hearing is reinforcements have been sent in by ISIL from the west, and that's becoming a problem as well. So to wrap up, what CENTCOM have told us is there was an attack on the base. That's the first time ISIL have got so close to a coalition airbase, but they say their soldiers weren't under threat, and the Iraqi security forces dealt with those ISIL fighters coming in.
This is weaker, but I think this attack shows us that the data is really important to look at, and that real data, numbers of fighters, amount of territory under control, would show that the Islamic State is still quite formidable.
So do people in Washington need to be more careful then with that narrative you talk about, that the fight against ISIL is being won?
Another interesting point from Al Jazeera, as they made there too, is that the U.S. claims that they have done a lot of damage to the Islamic State, ISIL, but as the evidence actually shows, they've done very little damage in the bombing campaign that they have been doing with coalition forces. It says that only approximately 1% of ISIL's forces have been lost as a result of that. And if the body count is true, then they've only lost 10% of their military force as far as manpower, which they are constantly recruiting and getting more fighters in. There again, we also concerned about the fact that who created the ISIS group to begin with, known as ISIL now. Very interesting, because the U.S. fingerprints seem to be all over that as well, and one reason why the U.S. president may be slow to react in defense of the U.S. Marines there on the base in Ain al-Assad. But it is a fact that something should be done, especially seeing as there was a small band of ISIL soldiers that came in earlier today and attacked the base there in Iraq, and the U.S. president should be doing something to better arm and equip the soldiers that are on the ground there, as well as even considering an air assault campaign of wiping out any of the ISIL components that may be in and around the area there of al-Baghdadi. I'm Stephen Ben-Nun, and you are watching Israeli News Live.